You think you'd die on your first day. You wouldn't. Statistically, you'd probably survive your first fight too. Only 1 in 10 gladiator fights ended in death, which means the thing that actually killed you wasn't the arena. It was everything before it. Before sunrise, a guard unlocks your cell. You sleep on a stone slab in a room built for one person, shared with 3 other men. No windows, no natural light, just enough space to lie down and nothing else. You've been here long enough to stop flinching at the sound of the lock. The man in the corner hasn't. He arrived 2 weeks ago. He still jumps every single morning. You get up before the guards even finish unlocking the far cells. Not because you're eager, because standing slow gets you noticed. And getting noticed gets you punished. Breakfast is next, and here's the first thing that surprises people. You're not eating meat. You're a gladiator, and your diet is almost entirely vegetarian. Barley, beans, dried fruit, sometimes oatmeal. Romans had a nickname for men like you, horderii, the barley eaters. It wasn't a compliment. It was mockery. A reminder that even in a body built for violence, you still ate like livestock. Here's why that matters more than it sounds. A scientist studying gladiator bones centuries later found something nobody expected. A thick layer of fat sitting just under the skin. Not from being unfit. It was armor. A padded layer designed to absorb a blade, bleed dramatically for the crowd, and still let you walk away relatively intact. You weren't just training to fight. Your entire body, down to the fat under your skin, was being engineered into a weapon that could survive being cut open in front of thousands of people. After breakfast, in silence, training begins. Your sword weighs almost twice what a real one does. Your shield is heavier too. Every single day, you swing a weapon deliberately built to exhaust you before it ever builds your skill. Why? Because the real sword, on the real day, needs to feel almost weightless in your hand. Your trainer doesn't care if you're tired right now. He cares if you're still standing at the end of the season. You train against a wooden post first. Thrust. Withdraw. Thrust. Withdraw. Hundreds of times before you're ever allowed near another person. Your trainer, called a doctor, watches every single strike. One sloppy movement, and he corrects you with a wooden rod across your back. Not out of cruelty, out of math. A sloppy movement in training becomes a fatal habit in the arena. By mid-morning, you're finally paired against another man. Wooden swords. No real blades yet. You've trained for months before you're trusted with anything sharp. That's not mercy. That's an investment your owner isn't ready to lose. You get one break, around midday, the hottest hours, forced rest in the shade. Then back to the sand. Attack, counter, attack, counter, attack, counter. Thousands of repetitions until your body reacts before your mind even catches up. That reflex, built through sheer repetition, is the only thing standing between you and a mistake you don't get a second chance to make. Here's the part almost nobody tells you. You are worth money. A lot of it. Your owner, called a Lanista, doesn't want you dead. He wants you fighting again next month, and the month after that. Because a dead gladiator earns nothing ever again. A famous one earns everything, repeatedly, for years. That single fact quietly changes how fights actually worked. Most matches weren't fights to the death. They were fights to submission. A downed gladiator could raise a single finger, appealing to the crowd for mercy. Sometimes the crowd roared for it. Sometimes the emperor's thumb decided otherwise. Either way, that decision was never really yours. Your life, in that moment, belonged to thousands of strangers and one man's mood. But don't mistake any of this for safety. You could still die from something the crowd never even saw. An infected wound that turned septic 3 days later. A training accident that crushed something nobody could fix. A punishment for stepping out of line back at the Ludus. Discipline inside these walls was brutal. Beatings for minor mistakes, execution for serious ones. The arena wasn't the only place you could lose your life here. It was just the most famous one. Evening comes, training stops. Wounds get checked if you have any. Actual doctors were sometimes assigned to gladiator schools. Because again, you were an investment worth protecting. You eat again. Barley. Beans. You lie back down on the same stone slab. Tomorrow starts the exact same way. Some gladiators only fought 2 or 3 times a year, which means most of your life wasn't spent fighting at all. It was spent right here. Training, eating barley, sleeping in a locked cell, building a body that might only be tested for 90 seconds, once every few months. The waiting was longer than the fighting ever was. And the waiting was its own kind of exhausting. And here's the twist that breaks how most people picture this entire life. If you survive long enough, you weren't just a fighter anymore. You were famous. Gladiators appeared on graffiti walls in Pompeii, their names scrawled by admirers like modern-day fan art. Women reportedly sought them out specifically. Wine cups, oil lamps, and jewelry were sold across the empire with their faces stamped onto them. You could be a slave, owned, controlled, told when to eat and when to bleed, and a superstar, all at the exact same time. Two things that shouldn't be able to exist in the same body, existing anyway. There was one final reward, rarely given, but real. The Ludus, a wooden sword, handed to a gladiator as a symbol of freedom. It meant your fighting days were over. It meant you got to keep the body you'd spent years building and finally use it for something that wasn't survival. Most gladiators never got one. But the fact that it existed at all meant every single day of training carried a sliver of a different future inside it. So could you survive a day as a gladiator? The training might not kill you. The fights might not kill you. Statistically, most days, you'd walk away, tired and sore, but alive. The real question was never about surviving one day. It was whether you could survive the years, the waiting, the discipline, the small, repeated chance, over and over, fight after fight, that today is the day the odds finally catch up to you. Because the arena was never really the danger. The danger was how long they made you live inside the wait for it.